2025 is gonna be about the vibes, all right? Hey guys, what's up? It's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. I am here with the beginning of the year 2025 booktuber tag. I did these a few years ago and I had a lot of fun with them, and I'm really trying to get better at posting this year. So yeah, let's just talk books for 2025. Okay, question 1 is, how many books do you plan on reading for the year? I updated all of my trackers for 150 books. I've done that the last few years. I plan on reading more than 150, but 150 is always my set goal because I know I will for sure at least read that amount. And then it's always a bonus when you read more than that and then your tracker tells you you're like 20% ahead of your goal. I don't know. It just makes me feel special inside. But 150 is the goal. We'll probably read more than that. Who knows? Maybe the year could take a turn. Wait a minute. Let's not put bad mojo out into the world, okay? No, we will be reading at least 150. Question 2 is a book you are most likely to reread this year. And that is probably the easiest question to answer in the world. All right, I reread this series every fucking year, okay? And if you guys have been following me for a while, you'll know that I made a tandem guide for this series. I made it last spring. I have updated it in the fall to include Taming 7. So if you like things in chronological order, you like to see how the timeline all flows, go check it out. It is so fun. But Claiming 10 is supposed to be coming out this year, hopefully. That's all been a mess. Don't get me started on that. But I like to get the tandem read started right before the new book comes. And then when the new book comes, I'll update the tandem guide again. I'm worried that there will come a time where I have read the series so much that I'm sick of it, but I don't really see that happening. I've read the series 3 times now, and every time it actually gets better than the first. A lot of the times when we read books, we want that feeling of the first time reading it. And yes, I love that. But being able to go in every time and dissect it, read it in timeline order, look at things from different characters' POVs, every new time is special. And so, yeah, definitely going to be doing that this year. A priority read for you for the year. All right, that is going to be easy. And that is going to be Magnolia Parks, The Long Way Home. So I know what you're thinking. Ashley, you are literally wearing a Magnolia Parks sweatshirt. Why have you not continued on the series? Well, I will tell you why. I don't like Magnolia. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion or whatever, but Magnolia is a character that I get really exhausted reading her POV. I don't know, she just has pick-me vibes, but I love Daisy. And so my issue is that the current Daisy Hates, my issue is that the next Daisy Hates book, there's been nothing. Like, there's no teaser of when it's coming, no date. And so I don't want to read this and then be waiting for the next Daisy Hates book. So I'm kind of in this limbo period for now, but I really do need to continue on. So probably going to make this priority. I say that, and that probably means that it's a lower no. I should probably just stop talking and move on to question 4. Question 4 is tough because it's an author that you want to read less of, or like not at all in 2025. And I don't really like to talk negatively about authors. Like, I don't really even mention my DNFs. Like, when I do wrap-ups and stuff, I don't talk about it. I don't like put them on my trackers. I just kind of leave them behind. So it's a hard one for me, but so I guess I'll cheat a little bit with my answer. I believe Jess from Peace Love Books did this too, but I really liked her answer. And it's really just to not make priority new releases that I know are just not going to excite me. I actually mentioned this in my video I just posted the other day. 2024 was a really hard year for me just because I found so many new releases to be very, very lackluster, but yet I pushed myself to read them because that was what was trending. That's what people were reading, and I didn't want FOMO, and I kind of wish I had FOMO. Believe me, I really wished I would have missed out on a lot of these. But I also mentioned in my video the other day that I want to make priority this year reading backlist books. I did that towards the end of 2024, and I actually found that I liked a lot of books that were published prior to 2020. And so I'm going to be doing that a lot more this year. My hope is that, I don't know, I just feel like new releases have taken a turn. I feel like books are just lacking a lot of pizzazz and flair that they had like a couple years ago. I don't know. I'm going to stop rambling about this and move on to question 5. Something new you want to read this year, it can be either tropes or genres. I'm going to go with a genre. When I'm starting to get burned out on romances, I like a nice little palate cleanser. And occasionally I will throw a thriller in, and I always love them. But I usually just do a one and done, and then I'll repeat that cycle again several months later. So I want to at least try to read one thriller a month. And if I can keep up with that, then maybe I can add 2, and then so on and so forth. But I really like listening to audiobooks of thrillers, especially if I'm gaming. I don't know, it just kind of gives a extra level of intenseness, but yeah. But yeah, I would definitely like to read more thrillers for this year. A popular book you want to read this year. Do Not Crucify Me, but I have not read this yet. Yeah, I am one of those assholes that says I am not going to start a series until there are more books in the series, okay? I don't like cliffhangers. I hate them. I hate being in limbo for years, waiting on the next book, because sometimes authors completely drop their series. Sometimes authors wait 6 to 7 years to publish the next book. I swear to God, I'm going to be in my 60s by the time ACOTAR is finished. But irregardless, Fourth Wing. I have not read it yet. Onyx Storm comes out like in 5 days as I'm filming this. So the graphic audios are available on my Hoopla. Like I said before, I really love listening to audiobooks and gaming, thrillers and fantasies. It's a level of intenseness. It adds some fun and excitement. But yeah, I really need to get off my ass and read this book. Most anticipated release of 2025. I really think that goes without saying, Claiming 10. I am putting the OG alternate cover that Chloe had like envisioned. Rest in peace to the OG covers, okay? Who knows? Maybe we'll get them with all of this like drama and theories and mysteries surrounding this Healing 7 stuff and indie covers and okay. Let's pause for a sec, okay? Boys and Women. I made a whole video of this in September about the Spotify stuff. You guys, I'm just gonna say, this whole situation is an absolute fucking mess, okay? It is a mess. You have publishing companies and Amazon posting the pre-sale on their website saying it's 700 and some pages, and then you have Chloe going on her Spotify saying it's over 800 pages. You know, the publishers really cut down Taming 7. They cut down so much. I'm so scared for Claiming 10, but I'm so ready for it. I have so many fucking feelings about this that we need to move on. Maybe I'll do a whole nother video dedicated to just ranting on about that because you guys seem to really like those Boys of Tommen videos. But anyway, we need to move on in this. Bookish goal for 2025. I really like this one. So in September, I counted all of my books. These are not my only shelves. I have another shelf that just has all of my books that I haven't read, like my TBR and stuff. So I counted all of them, and I believe I had just under 200 books that I have not read yet. And so what my goal for this year is, I really, really need to cut that physical TBR down. And so my goal is to get back into physical reading. I spent majority of 2024 listening to audiobooks and reading ebooks. I think I read like 20 some physical books. And that's really not a lot. For a person that reads just under 200 books, my goal is to at least read 3 to 5 physical books a month. So far, I'm on track for that. And I have forgotten that it's very peaceful just sitting with a physical book and flipping the page and like sniffing it and stuff. Is that not normal? Anyway, a book on your TBR that you will probably never read. Really heavy emphasis on that probably again. Okay, this is gonna be easy for me because this has been on the back of my mind for years, and I always think this is the year that I need to do this, but I know that I'm not going to do it. So that is the remaining 2 books in the Twisted series. I read the first two books in the fall of 2021 when I had discovered Book Talk and just kept picking up things that I saw. Like every time I'd see a TikTok with books, I'm like, okay, gotta read that one, gotta read that one. And so that was a time that I was throwing out 5 stars like candy. And then I started to develop actual taste and stuff, and then realized a lot of these books should not have been 5 stars. I did like the second one, however. I don't know if I'll ever reread it. But these 2 books. So I remember pausing, not wanting to read this one, because a lot of people had complained about the main character, Josh. And a lot of people just complained about this book in general. So I put it on a very long pause. Then this one came out and everybody seemed to love it. But I just, even if it's a companion novel, I'm a freak and I won't read things out of order. So I just kept sitting on this one and sitting on this one. And this was in 2022 and this is 3 years later. So I just think it's safe to say, I don't think these are ever going to get read. Stitch this in a year from now and we'll see. A series that I want to read this year, I'm going to go with Ruthless Boys. This is the spin-off series to Zodiac Academy. It's a Why Choose series, and I've wanted to read this for some time, but Why Choose is just not something that I normally pick up. I think I've maybe read under 5 total. When I do read them, I do normally like them. I just don't go out of my way to pick them up. But I love Zodiac Academy. I love it so much. And so I really, really want to read this series. But to also piggyback off of that, I need to finish Zodiac Academy. I read the series in 2022. I binged books 1 through 7. I buddy read them with a friend. And then when book 8 came out, it had so many POVs and it ended in another cliffhanger. And so I read half of it. And then I got burned out, and then I just decided to step away until book 9 would be announced. That didn't come until last April. So I'm finally ready to just sit down and finish, but I'm rereading from the beginning because it's been so long. I'm doing the graphic audios. They're so fun, but only the first 2 books are out. So I'll probably physically read the rest. But for this, piggybacking off of those 2, definitely Zodiac Academy and then Ruthless Boys. Want to get those done this year. Auto buy authors going into the year. I think it goes without saying, this is pretty much the same every year. Penelope Douglas is a big one. I always credit Penelope to being the first contemporary romance I ever read, and they are just the reason that I love dark and twisted unhinged stuff so much. So Penelope is just always an auto buy author for me. Another one is Sam Mariano. Horrible cover, but one of my favorite books ever. I discovered Sam in 2023, and I have found that every single one of her books so far have not disappointed me. She writes the absolutely most unhinged, out there, psychotic MMCs, and it just makes for some really interesting reading. So Sam is definitely another one. And then also KV Rose. This is a special edition that a friend binded for me. KV has a very interesting writing style and writes mental health in a very interesting way. Her characters are really twisted and interesting, but she's just another great auto buy author for me. And just once again, showing off my binded copy from Erin. I'll link her bookstagram down below. But, I love looking at this thing. It's beautiful. Okay, a book to show adaptation you are excited for. This is another one where I'm going to cheat a little bit. So this is a spin-off, but it's a spin-off to a book that was adapted into a show. So it's Blood of My Blood. And this is a spin-off to Outlander. Outlander does have spin-off books, materials, novellas. And so I think a lot of these scenes and topics are in those books. But I am a person that is absolutely obsessed with Outlander. Outlander is the reason I picked up a romance book, and it is the reason that I got back into reading. One random day in January of 2020, I just decided to start watching Outlander on Netflix, and I became a junkie, so obsessed. And when I found out that there was a book series where the show was following it really closely, I had to order them to find out what would happen next. And so I always credit Outlander to my romance reading journey. But they are coming out with a spin-off show this year, Blood of My Blood, and it's going to be a prequel of the parents of both of these characters. There's going to be like 2 overlapping timelines, like from World War I and then the early 1700s. It's just going to be another romance show. I love time period shows, especially if they're romances. I'm just really, really excited about this one. Sequel that I'm anticipating. This is going to be the second book to Grove Hollow Metamorphosis. I read this in October, talked about it in a spooky and gothic recommendations video, but I found that I really enjoyed this book. This was a YA paranormal romance set in the 1980s, and it ends on a cliffhanger. I think the author has 4 books set up, but the second one is supposed to come out this year. She's been dropping teasers, and oh my gosh, it just ended in a way that I need more. But basically, this girl from the 80s, she's recently orphaned. Her grandpa, who was raising her, passed away, so she's sent across the country to move in with her like really eccentric great aunt. And while she's there, she can like see and interact with a ghost, and she has feelings for him. It's a really good book, so this is definitely the one that I am looking forward to this year. Bookish things I'm leaving in 2024, and that is just being more free to DNF. Like I mentioned before, I don't really talk about my DNFs. I don't track them, and a lot of the times I really force myself to push through. And I can really say that that was part of the problem from last year. I feel like if I get to a 40-ish% point in a book, I feel like I can't DNF it. I don't know. It's just this weird thing about me. Like, I have to finish it at least to see what's going on, even if it's like the most boring freaking plot in the entire world. I still need to finish it. And this just dragged so many reads for me. It delayed so many other reads that I wanted to do. So this year, just DNF. Just say goodbye to the book, okay? Another one bites the dust. What you can expect from my account. This is such a fun question for such a small, minuscule, little teeny tiny baby account. I mean, I don't even have 1,000 followers, okay? I just get on here, I have fun, I read books, and I really want to share them with the world. I also really love talking. I have ADHD. I play with my hair, and just being able to sit in front of the camera and get it all out instead of like pacing around my living room all day, I don't know, it just helps. But this year, I really want to make a better schedule. I really go up and down. Like, I'll post a few things a week, and then you won't see me for 6 months, and then I'll post like one thing a week every week for like a few months, and then you won't see me again. I just want to get into a consistent schedule. Getting medicated for my ADHD would definitely help, but I also know that if I start to force myself to a schedule, I will actually do it. So stay tuned, we will see how that goes. How have your reading tastes evolved from last year? I just feel like this is kind of answering how I've been answering every question. I feel like at least in the last year and a half, I have transitioned into primarily picking up dark romances. However, 2024, specifically dark romance new releases, those were the ones that were really falling flat for me. I don't know if it was because of the dark romances that I read a few years ago, if it was like because I was newly into romance, so all of them felt so good, but I feel like those older indie books are way better than what is being thrown out today. So many books right now feel like a trope-filled menu, because I feel like an author, because of trope battles and people want certain things in their books, I feel like authors are at a point now where they're outlining their book or writing their book, and they're going, okay, definitely have to have this in there, this in there, this in there, this in there. Even if it doesn't make sense to the plot, or it's not consistently flowing, like it just doesn't feel like it fits there properly. That was my problem. Going back to what I said earlier, I really want to focus on reading older books this year, more backlogs. I just want to appreciate the older works, because there are a lot of romances out there that were written 10 years ago that have not been found and loved. The other booktubers that inspire me, I will say that I started getting my romance book recommendations before I started going on Book Talk. So I always have a love and appreciation for Jess from Peace Love Books. I got a lot of historical romances from her like 4 or 5 years ago. And I just feel like she's an OG person on here, so I always appreciate and love the things that she puts out there. Locke's Library has such a unique and fun aesthetic. I always love the things that she posts. Nikki's Book Nook and I, we do like to talk from time to time. We have a lot of interest. She likes to share her writing processes with me. There's just so many fun creators that I love, and I love to follow and support and be inspired on here. But yeah, those are just kind of the 3 ones that really come to mind when I think about it right away. I'm also one of those people where I really like to support and follow smaller channels before the larger channels. Like, I do like the larger channels, but there are so many smaller ones, like myself, that just they don't get the love and appreciation out there. And so I really like to find those ones too. And also I have found that a lot of the smaller content creators, they tend to recommend books that I've never heard of before, which I appreciate coming in a book world where we are getting like the same 5 recommendations every video, every reel, every TikTok. Moving on. And anything that I want to say to anyone out there that wants to make a booktube account, listen, this is coming from a super, super small creator. Just do it, okay? I don't get a lot of hits. I don't trend, anything like that. But at the end of the day, the people that do comment me and do reach out to me, it really means a lot. Like, you know, this is a small account, but I do really put a lot of heart and soul into the content that I produce. And my Boys That Tom and Tandem guide, I have gotten the kindest messages about that ever since it was released. I get people from Facebook like finding it. So yeah, just put yourself out there, make the content. It's fun, trust me. I'm gonna do it for this beginning of the year book tag. I am really excited for 2025. I really felt so negative at the end of 2024 for so many things, book related, non-book related, I think we all know. Anyway, we're gonna have fun this year, okay? We're gonna read, we're gonna have all the good vibes, we're gonna try new things, we're gonna love new things, we're gonna leave things that we don't love in the past. 2025 is gonna be about the vibes, all right? Anyways, don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.